And we're live. Hey, good evening, guys. I have our special friend here, Troy Austin, to help me talk about the Hindenburg disaster and what is the Mandela effect, Troy, with this one? This is your find.
The thing that I noticed was that first off, the entire arrival is now much longer, much more crisp and clear. However, the main thing was that when the Hindenburg was docking, or at least getting close to where its landing area was, uh, it, from what I recall, is that it was hit by lightning. It caused the Hindenburg to take a nosedive, um, burst into flames, and everyone on the Hindenburg was incinerated. Now the new details, it's completely different.
And even the picture of Led Zeppelin's album changed, didn't it?
It
You
did.
pointed that
It
out
did. Yeah, you know
right
what?
here.
Yeah, if you want to pull that up now, this, taking a look at first glance, a lot of people may, yeah, no, it looks pretty similar, but let me kind of paint the image as I recall it. You may recall, like, even some of the T-shirts that you've seen in the past. At least I've seen them. A lot of these things. The image was this. It actually had the Zeppelin nosediving. It was actually contained in a circle, and you were able to see the back half kind of going out the upper right hand side of this circle. It was actually penetrating through the circle, but it was actually taking the crash and hitting the ground. This image, it's depicting this reality of how the Hindenburg was actually how it actually crashed.
Yeah,
But
so
that's
in a
not.
sense, it's not really residue, but it matches the new reality, which kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know what? It's yeah, it's strange. The album itself looks strange. Um, because from what I recall, it was this circle with the Zeppelin coming in for a nosedive, coming down. I seem to recall there was also smoke too, but um, it was it was clearly nosediving. It wasn't it wasn't the tail going down. That was one thing that caught my attention right from go. Like, that's not the way it happened at all. Some of the other some of the other things that happened along the way were also not exactly what I remember as well. Um, we kind of covered it a little bit, but as it's made its approach, if you're watching the video that's actually on YouTube as well, you can check it out, and you'll see that the commentators actually telling the listeners about the trouble that it's having. It didn't even look like it was in that much distress, to be honest with you. It wasn't whipping around from what because I'd never seen this much footage of it. But in this particular video, I noticed that they were saying it was dropping water ballasts. And in fact, it did it a couple times. If you look closely enough, you'll actually see one point in time that somebody's jumping from the Zeppelin, which I don't recall anything like that ever happening as well. They then dropped the lines, which again, I don't remember them ever dropping any kind of tether lines.
Kind of like
And then as it went ahead and it did, well, then the camera pans away. But now I don't remember the camera panning away for the long period of time. It's almost like they inserted a clip.
yeah. I want to talk
It
about some
almost
of the
appears to me.
surprising. I want to show the clip, and I also want to talk about some of these facts, I guess, afterwards.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so we have the clips here. This is one from the 1937 real footage. And when did it happen? It was May. Was it May 6th,
If you don't know the exact date,
1937? I think it was. Just making sure.
yeah, I'm not certain on that
Yeah,
either.
May 6th, 1937 is when the Hindenburg went down. So here is the footage, you guys, and then we'll commentate on it.
Finally, the landing lines are dropped.
Yeah, do you remember them talking about that?
No. No.
These scenes were filmed by Platti News cameraman William D. And you're about to see the pictures he got when the ship exploded. Those aboard leaping for life from a flaming inferno. The actual crash of the Hindenburg. An airship destroyed in less than half a minute.
And action.
Right,
I don't know.
exactly. Yeah,
I don't know. It's a terrible tragedy. Golly.
Yes. Well, you see
the back end.
you can see the tail end.
Let me
The
pause
tail
it.
end goes ahead and it hits first. Look right there underneath there. You'll see the if you look underneath that little area, I guess that's where the people that's where they were able to, get a bird's eye view of all the land as they were, floating around. But now, the tail end goes down and it rests from tail to the front. But you can see it if you're looking. It's actually pretty clear. You can see some of the people that are running for their lives through the smoke, and these people are they're getting out of there pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's good. Some of them survived then. Like a lot of them survived. We'll look at some of the facts in a minute to see how many people actually died, how many survived.
Yeah, absolutely. And that being said,
Let's see.
The original Hindenburg crash,
Where
Brian, nobody survived. There were 0 survivors. That was why it was so catastrophic as well. Not just simply because.
Right. Yeah, there's people running. You guys see that? There are people running.
We'll see them.
People running right there. You see them? And over here.
Now, watch. Put the cursor right there. Yep. You see him?
Holy crap!
Yeah, you'll see a lot.
Wait a second.
No running. See him?
Hang on. So did that guy just run through the fire and not even get caught in the fire? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very strange. But you can see
he would have been caught on fire.
You'll see him. They're running really fast from left to right where that dark area is.
Rushing to the rescue.
That's where the carriage
Heroes of
was.
the tragedy.
And you can see the little dots of people. They are running so fast. They're getting out of there, boy.
You don't remember that? You don't remember that at all, do you?
No.
All right. So here's another clip where I believe you can hear him talking like really loudly about it, and he kind of stutters, doesn't he, a little bit? And you don't remember that either?
No.
We talked about this last night a little bit on the show. Let's see. Wait, let's start.
The ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from. It's burst under flag. Get it started. It's fighting and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh my! Get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring fast. And all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like running 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers feeding around it. I told you, I can't even talk to people. There's space around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just.
Yeah. Do you remember him doing all that?
No. In fact, I don't even remember him saying "get out of the way" to some of these people. He wasn't doing that. It wasn't saying it like that. I mean, the initial panic and devastation, it's comparable, I guess. But the things that he starts saying afterwards, the bumbling, it doesn't sound familiar to me. He really carried on with that for a little bit of time too. So it was pretty, even though he was devastated, he still kind of followed through with it. He wasn't losing his direction of speech. He said, "Oh, the humanity." I remember that. Some of the other things they feel inserted. They don't. It doesn't feel right. I don't know. I can't say exactly, but it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't like that. It just never occurred to me that this could change, and not to mention we have the people from the Challenger explosion. There you see a video right here of the Challenger, which happened in 1986. Is that right? 1986.
Yes. Yeah.
And Challenger exploded, and the victims are still alive.
Yeah, that's
uncanny.
It's very strange. And some of the people actually still have their own names. And apparently a lot of these people had twins.
Oh, what? No.
Yeah, they had twins. At least that's what they said. They said that, well, these are twins. And that was like their excuse. But come on, like I mean, I think it's like 4 or 5 of the people that were, up there with was it what's her name, the teacher, Krista McCullough. There's I think 3 or 4 or more of them. I want to say had at least they claim to have twins. So that's kind of how they cover this. These are people that had twins, and now that's their excuse for why these people are still alive.
For why they're still alive, yeah. Absolutely, of course. There's always some kind of reason for why. But we see these tether lines, like you said, and then they drop ropes. This is the crash scene from the movie. There was a movie in 1975, and then there was another one in 2011 about the Hindenburg. He calls it a terrific crash. That's strange that he calls it. He calls it a terrific crash, which is strange. But so the Mandela is that you remember, and you've talked to other people too that sort of have that same memory too. With with it crashing straight down.
Yep,
pretty
absolutely. Much. For sure. There's a number of people that I've already talked to about it. Again, with the people that don't see some of these things that we're seeing, it's business as usual. So there's really no point. The people that that you genuinely know are experiencing what we are, they get it immediately. I mean, their eyes wide, they're focused, they're paying attention to every little nuance, and it's something that obviously it's a reject for our minds. It's you can sense it immediately, and for me it's odd, and then for them to take this, what really got me, which I had mentioned the other night, was after this explosion here, they still decided to take these things to World War II and put them off the coast of Normandy, which was kind of strange. That doesn't make any sense. Now that people know that these are like highly explosive, why would you want to take them to a battle area where there's missiles and bullets flying everywhere? When come on, these would be fun just to go ahead and shoot down to watch them all fall to the ground and take out some people below. That'd be an easy target.
Absolutely. And see, like, I wanted to get into a little bit of this history.com, like, documentary, documentation on it. There are some interesting facts. I don't want to, like, read it straight from the screen, so I'll just kind of summarize everything, okay?
Yep.
So basically, 1937, May 6th, the German Hindenburg burst into flames. And it was where was it at? It was it was going to land in Lakehurst, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
In a little more than 30 seconds, the largest object ever to soar through the sky was incinerated and burning.
Still not too clear on its actual the reason for why it went down. I remember that it got hit by lightning. I think that's going to need a little bit more research.
Oh my goodness! Well, see, what was really strange about this, and these with these facts, okay, based on what they're saying here, is okay. Let's not forget "Oh, the humanity" in case that changes. Those are the famous words uttered by Herbert Morrison. But let's see. Wait a second. It wasn't live. Okay, it wasn't live on radio. Let's see. Morrison was on the scene to record the arrival of the Hindenburg. But he wasn't broadcasting live. Let me see. This is the thing that got me, is that they used hydrogen instead of helium in the Hindenburg, which is really weird. The U.S. law prevented it. After the hydrogen-filled R101, let's see, Hindenburg designer Hugo Echner sought to use helium, a less flammable lifting gas. You still there, Troy?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, well, I find it really weird that they used hydrogen instead of helium. And then not to mention we have the Hindenburg had a smoker's lounge. Oh, man.
Ingenious idea. That's a masterful plan. Here we have this stuff that it's like flash paper.
Are you, I'm losing you a little bit there.
Yeah. Just out the window.
Troy.
Yeah.
Troy, I'm losing you a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you
Okay,
hear me
that's
all right?
better.
Right.
Yeah, I hear you better now.
All right, good. Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, here they are. They're just taking a little cruise. They're having a puff on their smoke. You know, they're ashing out the window, just having a good old time. You know, never mind that you're floating on a giant bomb.
The steward admitted passengers and crew through a double door airlock, right? And then they had the smokers lounge. I don't know, man. That's asking.
Man, well,
plane.
it's weird too, because I mean, you know, my recollection of this too, Brian. You know, I know that the technology is far superior from what I recall. Okay, so this right here, you know, being able to see things a lot clearer, you know, even, you know, through the smoke, you can still see the images. Now, it's not high def, but certainly a lot better than the images that I remember, because it was very grainy. You can still see the, you know, you see the fire, you know, you know, you couldn't see any people. I mean, you could kind of see a little bit of the people, but it was a cleared out area. I don't remember that many people even being on the ground, but when it did land, absolutely nobody was running through that. They were gone. Those were all goners. And you know, thankfully they did.
Yeah,
They
because
survived.
I mean,
that's wonderful.
they called it the Hindenburg explosion for a reason, right? I mean,
Yep.
explosion, not just like bursting into flames and going down with all the smoke. No, it was an explosion.
Yeah.
And the Hindenburg, what's interesting here too is Goebbels wanted to name the Hindenburg for Adolf Hitler. Named the airship for the late German President Paul von Hindenburg and refused Goebbels' request to name it after Hitler. Okay, so Eckner, it's a good thing they didn't name it after Hitler. They almost named it after him.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's certainly new information. I had no idea.
Yeah, so it crashed. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. Okay, the numbers. Okay, we want to see the figures, right?
Sure.
The survivors of the crash. Anyone who has seen the graphic newsreel video of the Hindenburg plunging to Earth in flames may be amazed to know that 97 of the passengers and crew on board, out of that, 62 survived. The disaster's 36 deaths. 36 deaths included 13 passengers, 22 crew members, and 1 worker on the ground. It says many survivors jumped out of the Zeppelin's windows and ran away as fast as they could. I mean, I don't doubt it. It's just we don't remember, we don't recall that.
Right. No, I don't. And now I guess more people lived than actually died in that crash. So
yeah,
the magnitude of it has certainly depleted.
Gosh, this is weird. How, I mean, look at the numbers. You got to look at all these Masonic numbers that we're seeing popping up everywhere. 6-2 is like, you know, the number 6 here, and then I know it's speculation, but we also have May 6th. Just a lot of weird things going on. These Masonic numbers. And if you don't believe me, if you guys don't believe me, look up 9/11. But you'll see there's all these numerology around it. It's just too much to be coincidence.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the Led Zeppelin picture with the bottom exploding. You mentioned also, Troy, about these Normandy landings with the blimps, which is kind of related to the Zeppelin.
You know, and this kind of this was the prelude to, you know, kind of looking that up, because, you know, I mentioned the other night, you know, looking at you know, one of the video games that had come out. My son's he's a YouTuber. You know, he does a lot of the game reviews and whatnot. And you know, I was watching him play the game, and they've got some footage on the game itself, which, you know, it appears to be real footage. You know, I don't know for a fact, but it looks like live footage from Normandy, and you can see, you know, the ships out in the water, and then looking above the ships, like in the distance, you're seeing a whole series of the Zeppelins. And I just thought that didn't happen. You know, they didn't have those things. That would be stupid to have those things out there, especially, you know, after this whole big incident, because, you know, let's face it, after this happened, everyone, but no way I'm going to get back into a Zeppelin. So they all but just got rid of that whole concept. So anyways, I decided to do a little bit of homework with it because I'm like, well if they're really out there, I'm going to see if they really were. So looking up some of the images of the actual, you know, the Normandy invasion, which included a lot of the ships out there, you know, attacking the coastline. You do see a number of Zeppelins, and man, there's not like one or two. There's a lot. And not only that, which was one of the other things that kind of caught my attention. You can see right there. That funny. You also see a lot of the razzle dazzles too. You'll see on a lot of the videos. You know, in a lot of the images, you'll see the razzle dazzle ships, the ones that we remember. You know, you'll see some of the ones. Oh well, you'll see the images here, but you'll see the ones also with the stripes, and they have footages as they're going through. You'll see all the Zeppelins and the razzle dazzle, and it's just a real. It's so bizarre, and it kind of kicks me into full gear of what reality that I'm in. You know, there's no two ways about it, because I've seen so many video clips from, you know, the History Channel, the Hitler Channel is what we used to call it, and you know, all this is brand new.
Yeah, I can't get over this because I'm seeing all these images. I don't remember it either. I mean,
I know.
And my grandpa, both grandpas actually served in World War II, and my uncle served in Vietnam. I served during the Afghan War. But yeah, I don't remember all these. And I've seen plenty of war movies. I'm trying to see what you guys remember, because see, if you guys are remembering it, you know, it's cool. I understand, but you know, it seems like.
Well, I guess in this case, Brian, either way, you're right. You know,
they would have been shot down in a heartbeat by the enemy,
without a doubt. I mean, look, you know, they were firing back at us with everything they had. You know, the truth is that we had scouted out that area for quite some time. You know, we sent in our SEALs, and you know, the guys even take, like, you know, sand samples to see if our ships could actually go up on the shore. We did that is like, oh boy, I want to say as soon as like 1938, I want to say. So we had this plan, and at that point in time, they didn't have that area nearly as fortified, but it was one of Hitler's generals, I want to say, that had seen that area as susceptible. So, you know, in short time, they went ahead and they fortified the heck out of that area, put some, you know, enormous weapons in there, and really hunkered down pretty good over there. And to bring some Zeppelins over there, man, that was fair game. You know, that would have been like one of the first things I would have shot. You know, I don't even know why they had them over there, to be honest with you. What, just I guess to survey the land, but I mean, you got planes for that. Why would you want to have, and not only that, but they had planes too. So it's like, well, you know, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, they didn't just have 2 or 10, man, they filled the skies with those things. You know, it'd be like a video game, like Galaga, just shooting those things down. That would have been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, especially if they were filled with hydrogen instead of helium, right?
Oh, without a doubt, man. Just send those guys, you know, out of there, man. And you know, they'd be landing in the water just as fiery as they did in the Hindenburg crash. I'm certain.
I mean, they almost resemble in the air torpedoes, don't they?
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, and look, those things are gigantic. So if they're gonna fall, they're probably gonna hit some of the ships too, man.
Right. These. Wait, hold on. Is that a razzle dazzle? It kind of looks like it's a more modern razzle dazzle. You see that, right?
Yep, it is. Yep, you can see it.
That's the nail in the coffin I was looking for, because they didn't use these frequently in World War II. The razzle dazzle was mainly used during World War I, but occasionally you saw these ships in World War II.
Yeah, still such a trip to see. You know, any one of these battleships in that kind of you know, looking like that. It's just,
there's some
I've
more.
never seen that.
Here's another image.
It's not so alarming because I've seen it quite a bit. I go back to it every now and then just to make sure that it's still razzle dazzle. But
Yeah.
Who knows? Things are changing all the time. So we get the flip flops, and who knows? And at any point in time, people are believing whatever this reality throws at them. So
Yeah, I know.
I just kind of go with the flow, and if I do introduce it to somebody, my first thing is just kind of do a little trivia to find out where they are. If they do remember things that I do, I also kind of tread lightly because I don't want to just spew. It's because the reaction. Anyone that has tried to broach the subject knows exactly what I'm talking about. Currently I've got another friend of mine that is going through it too. It's one of the guys that I work with. And so, kind of treading lightly and not really, imposing it, but boy, you can see he's eyes wide and looking around just like that look that I had when I first started realizing it. And it does dissipate a little bit, and you kind of get you get control of it. It's still surprising, it's still amazing. This is a supernatural thing. There's a number of theories on it. I do think that I think people should be spiritual more than ever at this point in time. Reach out to your higher power and really hold on to it tight. This is not make believe. This is really happening, guys.
And that higher power, to me, is the Lord Jesus Christ. But yeah, this is just crazy. These aren't like flying through the air and landing. These are just staying up in the air. What were they purposed for? I wonder. What were they used?
Only thing I can think, maybe aerial
You have any theories,
reconnaissance, maybe.
What?
To get some good photos for the Mandela effect. Who knows?
Hey, guys, take a picture of me.
Exactly. Hey, over this way. Check out my razzle dazzle shit, man. I painted this myself. You know what I mean? Who knows, man? It could be, it could be for hauling in food to I don't know. I wouldn't imagine they go very fast. I would bring them anywhere near the coast.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's any Vietnam changes as well. I mean, guys, we got to stay on top of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this is just another one, and it is a big one. I know that there's a lot more out there. This is where it's interesting for me because as I mentioned before, I like looking up things. I've got a couple things that I had mentioned with Brian. We won't go into that because that's a whole different thing. But just briefly, I'm kind of covering some of the things that are really important, going through them kind of meticulously and retranslating them so they're understandable. And what I mean by that is our rights. Because if these things are changed, maybe you want to start taking a look at the Constitution and what the way things are being worded now as well. If one quick thing, I mean, look, if you look even at the Declaration of Independence now, it doesn't say that anymore. And that's weird. Because I certainly remember that.
About about the Declaration of Independence, yeah, I don't know why I see some of the wording seem like it may have changed,
Yeah.
There was that word, that one word in the Declaration. Let me find it real quick, because
yeah, and I've seen that document a number of times. I mean, there was all the history books. We had to learn about it. I mean, we studied this document, every which way. It was an important document. And so now looking at this document, if you see this document for the first time right now, this is gonna get your attention. Because if you remember it in your mind, without even looking at it right now, just remember it in your mind. And then once you look at it, oh yeah, you'll know something's wrong.
I think it was actually was it the preamble? I think it was the preamble. It was the we the people.
Yeah,
In order to
We the
form a
people.
more perfect union, establish
There you go.
justice, ensure domestic tranquility is spelled like insure, like an insurance policy now. I seem to remember do you remember insure with the en or
Oh,
in?
yep, I do. Absolutely. Yep.
What do you remember?
I remember insure, not insure, like to insure, like insurance.
Yeah, that's what's strange. And it was hard to find residue on this one. You guys see that? To ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. Yeah, no, defense, I understand. This is like an old English word right here. Sometimes they spell it like that, kind of like color and color,
Yeah.
humor and humor,
Yep.
the U's. So, yeah, that's fine.
Most
I
of the
understand.
words that they have just a different meaning. So that's what I'm looking into and trying to see if there's anything that we have to be very concerned about. And again, there's just things that will kind of come across my mind, and I'll just do a little bit of homework to find out if the events that I recall are different. And I do go pretty deep into them sometimes. I mean, we've talked about it briefly about some of the things, but there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history that's gone by, so there's certainly a lot more relearning that I have to do.
That's funny you mentioned
Because a lot of
relearning.
things.
I was about to say learning because about history. That's one thing. If we say about history, is if we don't learn from it, we're doomed to repeat it. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's exactly correct.
I don't know who said that.
So
It's
yeah, now
cliche.
it's going back and with the things that I remember, and I'm trying to rack my brain with some of these things because some of these little changes can just slip on by. It's the question marks. But you know what? Right now I'm questioning everything.
I know, right?
There's a lot of things out there that
You have to
are
question.
more apparent than others.
Right, and you have to question your vaccines that you're receiving, what's in them.
Oh, without a doubt. Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Any kind of medication, you want to know what's in it. What is it? What are the side effects? Kind of like that. You have to stay in the know.
Well,
And
exactly. I mean, look down to the toothpaste that you're using. If a lot of people don't even know about well, you mentioned the fluoride. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's for toothpaste and all that type of stuff. Well, the Nazis were using that. The Japanese were using that in their death camps to placate and get these people in almost like a trance-like state, where they just kind of marched on into their silos, where they just burned them all up. And now we're brushing our teeth with it, and they're putting it in the water and stuff. The true purpose of this was actually it was a poison. It's a rat poison. So obviously we need to take care of ourselves. There's not too many options really. Everything has fluoride in it. I mean, everything. So it kind of puts a big question mark. Why would they want to be giving us some kind of poison to brush our teeth and drink from?
I got to tell you something real quick, Troy, because someone just sent me something about panda bears, and apparently we have gray panda bears.
Gray panda bears.
Yeah,
hybrid.
There's panda bears in various shades of gray, I think is what someone sent me. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm going to do some fact checking.
I'm always interested in the animals too. There's so many animals, man. They're laughable. I mean, purple squirrels and orange crocodiles and pink elephants.
Yes.
Web spitting worms and like the caterpillars. They're like, we don't know why these things turn carnivorous all of a sudden, but yep, here they are. And they don't even have like all the legs like a caterpillar now. They've got like some up front and some in the back, and they got these like creepy little spines. And man, if you thought it was dangerous to go through the forest like way back when, you're not getting out alive, man. Everything gets you now. I mean, even down to the caterpillars, they're after you. They're gonna get you.
Well, how about those snake caterpillars that we have now? That was weird.
I know, man.
Oh man, it's a strange world out there, but I'm really glad that we can at least fill in some of the holes with each other, and namely, I want to thank you, Troy, for coming back on, especially after last night's long episode.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
It was
Thank
really
you for having
great
me on. I
having
really appreciate it.
Anytime, brother. And you guys out there, please feel free. Send me an email or something. It may take me a little while to get to you, but I promise you. I mean, if you don't mind coming on, we can talk about it too. Whatever finds you guys have, I don't mind having you on. And
yeah, I'll be continuing my research. So if I come up with some more interesting stuff, certainly, you know, I'll pass it to the channels, and you know, hopefully we can discuss it.
Yeah, since we're talking about history and stuff, I kind of wanted to share some of these like coins that I've earned from the battalion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, this is right there with the American flag, eagle. This is a for distribution. Right here, global distribution.
Wow.
I have another one here for excellence, right here. But this is one that like your life is our business. Last to let you down. Right here, with the jump wings.
Look at that. Wow.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
I used to collect these things. So anyway, guys, history is one of those things. Like I said, history is just really interesting, and sometimes I feel like here lately we're not being told the entire truth. Like Trump mentioned something about fake news, and see, ever since he said that, I've been on the lookout for fake news. Isn't that like? Did you hear him say that? Do you remember him saying be on the lookout for fake news?
Absolutely.
So ever since he said that, I've been on the lookout, and but thanks to truthers out there like you and me and other people on the channels.
Yeah, you really got to, you know, stray away from the main media. You know, you know, alternative media is certainly a way that most people are getting their information nowadays. You know, and they got to drum up their you know, their false flags and their, you know, their, you know, horrible events to, you know, keep people intrigued, and even at the effect of doing it, you know, on their own, you know, just creating their own, you know, news. You know, you're not going to get the right information, so it's gonna lead you to, you know, to what they want you to believe ultimately. You know, so yeah, you know, I don't even watch any of the news anymore. I've seen way too many setups, and you know, just way too many things that make you scratch your head and say, you know, this just doesn't feel right. You know, you got to trust your gut too.
Well, I think that's about all we have time for on this episode. There'll be plenty more to come, and I really think the veil is being lifted on everything. Again, I want to thank you, Troy. Have a great evening, guys.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Everyone have a great evening, and hopefully we'll be talking soon.
All right, man. Hey, take it easy, okay?
All right.
All right, Troy. Have a good night. God bless you.
God bless you.